In today's tutorial, we're going to be creating this very simple animation which can be used as a digital background with just zeros and ones, and to be honest, you could change it between any two letters that you want. However, we'll be using this concept in tomorrow's video to create a much more complex version that might look like this. So with that, let's start off today's simple tutorial. In our default scene, we're going to bring our cursor to the junction of these two windows to create a new window by clicking and dragging, and then we're going to change this from the 3D viewport to the geometry node editor. Then we'll press this plus button to create a new geometry node tree, select the group input and press X to delete it. Then we'll press Shift A and search for a grid node, and then we're going to connect the mesh into the group output, and we'll increase the size on the X and the Y to something like 5 maybe. Then we'll increase the number of vertices as well. Maybe we can go up to something like 50, and on these we want to instance some points. So we'll go ahead and just search for an instance on points node, and on every single one of these vertices we want to instance either 0 or 1. So for that we can directly search for an instance on points node, plug that in after the grid, and for the instance we can search for a string node, and since we can't plug strings directly into anything, we have to search for a strings to curves node and then plug the string into the string. Now of course you don't need this extra step, you can always just change it over here, but let's use this value for now. Then we can plug this into the instance, and for the actual string let's type in the number 0. Now the first thing that we can see is that it is way too large, so we can change the size down to something like 0.1, and now we have zeros of a decent size. But I want to change the alignment from left to center. Of course, this you don't actually have to do, but I always do it, even the vertical alignment to middle. And then I want to change the font to make it something a little bit more digital looking. So I'm going to open fonts, and I'll be using the font Heartbit. I don't know where I got it from, but it's a free font that you could download in various regions. So I'll click open font, and now I have the zeros. Now based on the size of the zeros, I can always choose to increase the size, maybe go to 0.2 or maybe 0.15, but you can always also play around with the actual number of vertices. So if I change this down to 25, you see how it's much further spaced. I can always increase the size and things like that. But for now, I will keep it at 50 itself. That was looking good in my opinion. So now the problem is every single one of the vertices is a 0. We want only a few of them to be zeros, and we want the other ones to be ones. For that, we have this selection socket over here, and we're going to connect that to a random value node. So I'll search for a random value, change this from float to boolean so that it's either true or false, and plug this value into the selection. Now we have 50% of the vertices covered with zeros randomly, but we have to get the other 50% to have ones. So to get that, I'm just going to duplicate this string and string to curves node by shift selecting both of them and then pressing Shift D to duplicate them, and then changing this string from 0 to 1. Then I'll go ahead and duplicate this instance on points node by pressing Shift D, bringing it down here and plugging this curve instance into the points, and then I have to join both of these using a join geometry node. I press Shift A, search for join geometry, and I can plug this instance in here. Now the curve instance is an instance, so it should go into the instance because we want to instance this onto all of the points, and the points we have to get from the original grid that we had over here. So let's take this, plug that into the points, and now we should have a 1 on every single one of the points. But we don't want the 1 to be present wherever a 0 was already present, such as this region over here. So to do that, we have to take the inverse of the random value node, and to do that, we can search for a boolean math node, switch this from AND to NOT, and then we can plug this in here and take this output and plug that into the selection. And that way, whichever area is not a 0, we will go ahead and place the 1. And that way we get a huge number of zeros and ones randomly placed. Next, the problem is these are just curves. So if you actually switch off overlays, nothing's going to show up in our renders. So we can go ahead and search for a fill curve node, plug that in after the join geometry, and now we have actual mesh that we can see in our renders. But now we have to give it some material. So I'll press Shift A, search for a set material node, plug that in after the fill curve, choose the default material, and we're mostly done with the node setup. We actually have to animate this now. So to animate it, the first thing that I'll do is set all of my animation defaults by going to my output properties, changing the frame rate to 30 frames per second. End frame, I'm going to keep it at 150 so that it's a 5-second long animation. Output folder can be wherever you want it to be. File format, I'm going to choose FFmpeg video. Encoding, I'm going to change the container to MPEG-4, and in output quality of perceptually lossless. Then all I have to do is play around with the seed value, and I can do that by using a driver by typing in hash frame divided by something, or since we are using geometry nodes, we can just search for a scene time node and plug the frames into the seed. Now if you plug this directly in, it changes every single frame, and that might be exactly what you're looking for, but I think this is a bit too fast for the human eye. So I'll go ahead and search for a math node, change the math from add to divide, and just divide it by 2, and that way every second frame the value changes and it remains the same for one frame. So as you can see, on frame 36 it changes, on frame 137 it remains the same, then 138 it changes, 139 it remains the same. So that way it just changes a bit slower, and your brain gets a little bit more time to process the zeros zeros and the ones, which I think is perfectly alright. Of course, you have to change the playback to frame dropping as well to get a realistic idea of how fast it's changing, but this seems fine for me. With that said, we can go ahead and deal with our materials and the scene setup. So I'll press Ctrl-Alt-0 to snap camera to view, select my camera, go to the camera properties, go down to viewport display, change passport out all the way to 1, go to my render properties, switch on all the defaults. In this case, all I need is the bloom. Then I'll change my viewport display to rendered so that I can actually see the changes that I make, and I'll switch off overlays by pressing this button over here. In case your camera isn't aligned perfectly because maybe you did not press 7 while you pressed Ctrl-Alt-0 and you were in just an arbitrary top view, you can always select the camera, go to the object properties over here, and just make sure that the rotation is 0 on all of the axes, and the location on the X and the Y can be 0. It doesn't have to be 0 as long as everything fits within frame. So this is too far, so this is fine, but I'll leave it at 0 so it's centralized, and the Z value is whatever you think is appropriate. Of course, if you zoom in, the letters become, or the numbers become bigger. You can zoom out till everything just perfectly fits in frame, and that way you get much smaller numbers. So I'll go with the value of 5 and I will leave it as is for now. I might change that before the final render, and then I'm going to select my light and press delete to remove it because I don't want it. Then I'll go to the world properties by selecting this button and changing the color all the way to black. And then I'll select the geometry cube again by either clicking here or selecting it up here, going to the material properties, and all I have to do is increase the emission to a nice greenish color, and we are set with our digital looking background. Now I think that's all right, and once you're happy with it, you can go ahead and press render animation. Hopefully today's tutorial was a very concise one and a simple one, but it can be used in various backgrounds, and of course with all of this crypto and digital security trending, a bit late to the trend but still fairly useful in quite a lot of situations, you'll be able to create this really easily and always incorporate your own ideas to make this look even cooler. If you watched so far, thank you so much for watching. The watch time really helps me, and I'm sure you'll enjoy other videos that are present on my channel because I release videos every single day, so there's definitely content for you to binge through. Until the next video comes out tomorrow, keep creating and stay creative.